What if I told you that some of the most extraordinary roads on Earth were built in places where roads were never supposed to exist? Not between dense cities, not to shave minutes off a commute, not to dominate the landscape, but to cross open oceans, to weave through islands scattered like fragments, to trace fragile lines through snow, cliffs, wind, and water, in environments that seem to constantly ask the same question: why are you here? This is Norway, a country shaped less by human intention and more by ice, pressure, and time. Here, mountains don't gently rise from the land, they fall, almost violently, into the sea. Fjords carve the earth like deep ancient scars. Rock walls plunge straight into dark water, leaving no space for compromise. In this landscape, even standing still feels temporary. So building a road here is not a technical challenge alone, it's a philosophical one. In many places, engineers reshape the land to fit the project. In Norway, the project reshapes itself to fit the land. That shift changes everything. It changes timelines, it changes costs, and it changes how success is defined. In most countries, roads are drawn first on maps. Straight lines, efficient curves, optimal distances. But in Norway, maps are suggestions at best. Reality always has the final word. Before a single line is drawn, engineers study rock layers, wind corridors, ice movement, and water depth. They don't ask where a road should go, they ask where it might be allowed to go, because in Norway, nature does not negotiate on human terms. Salt water creeps into concrete, freeze-thaw cycles expand microscopic cracks into failures, wind accelerates through narrow passages, turning invisible air into force. Snow accumulates silently until it moves. Avalanches here are not rare disasters, they are expected events, and roads are designed knowing that at some point snow will win, temporarily. Every element pushes back. Wind here is not just weather, it's a structural load, an invisible force that shapes every decision long before construction begins. And yet, roads exist, but they are not ordinary roads. Norway's scenic routes are not designed to conquer the land. They are designed to belong to it. Belonging means understanding limits, knowing when a bridge should rise and when a tunnel should disappear into rock. It also means accepting that some solutions will never look efficient from above. But from the ground, from behind the wheel, they feel inevitable. They don't rush, they don't insist on straight lines, they don't pretend permanence is guaranteed. Instead, they begin with a different question. How do we pass through this place without being erased by it? Every curve, every bridge, every tunnel is an answer. And sometimes the answer is simply patience, waiting for the right moment, waiting for the weather to cooperate, waiting for the land to reveal its limits. In Norway, construction seasons are short, mistakes are expensive, and nature has no tolerance for improvisation. Precision here is not perfectionism, it's survival. Take the Atlantic Ocean Road. From the sky, it doesn't look like infrastructure, it looks like an idea made real. A thin ribbon of asphalt leaping between small islands. Each island it connects once relied on boats, tides, and weather forecasts. Missed the window, and you waited. The road didn't erase isolation completely, but it softened it, without pretending the ocean no longer existed. 8 bridges suspended just above the waves, no tunnels, no protective barriers, just exposure. On calm days, it feels peaceful. The sea reflects the sky, the road feels like it's floating, but when storms arrive, the illusion shatters. Waves crash over the asphalt, spray blinds drivers, the horizon disappears behind walls of water. In those moments, the road feels fragile, almost defiant. And the question returns, louder than ever. Why build here? Because the fjords stretch inland like labyrinths. Because detouring around them would take hours. Because ferries are vulnerable to weather and isolation. But more than that, because engineers understood that resistance would fail, so they chose adaptation. The bridges curve, not for drama, but for survival. Curves redirect wind. They reduce sudden pressure changes, they prevent oscillations that could grow into structural instability. Straight lines are efficient on paper, curves are resilient in reality. This philosophy appears again and again across Norway's landscape. Efficiency is secondary, resilience is everything. A road that survives 50 winters is more valuable than one that saves 10 minutes. Here, longevity is the real measure of success. The foundations dive deep into bedrock shaped by glaciers long before humans existed. Granite that survived ice ages now anchors modern steel and concrete. This road doesn't challenge the ocean, it listens to it. Listening, in engineering terms, means data. Years of measurements, wind roses, wave heights, tidal patterns. Design here is not inspired by a single storm, but by the 100th one. And as you drive across it, something subtle happens. You slow down. Not because signs demand it, but because your instincts do. The environment commands attention. Distraction feels out of place here. The road subtly teaches respect. Not through signs, but through scale. The road becomes less about arrival and more about awareness. Many drivers describe the same sensation, a quiet alertness, a feeling that the road is guiding attention, not demanding speed, as if the infrastructure itself is asking you to slow down and observe. This idea of slowing down appears again and again across Norway. As the routes move inland, the threat changes. Water gives way to cold. In northern Norway, winter is not an inconvenience. It is a governing force. Snow doesn't fall delicately. It accumulates, it compresses, it slides. Temperatures drop so low that materials behave differently. Concrete contracts, steel loses flexibility, visibility collapses into darkness for months. So how do you build a road that survives a season that erases landmarks? You don't. You let it disappear. Routes like Trollstigen and Orlandsfjellet were never designed for year-round dominance. They were designed for seasonal rhythm. Engineers map avalanche paths with precision. Every slope has a memory, snow slides where it has slid before, and the land always leaves clues. By reading those clues, engineers don't eliminate risk. They reduce surprise, and that difference saves lives. They calculate snow loads, wind direction, and slope geometry. They know exactly where nature will cross the road, and instead of resisting, they allow it. Snow fences guide drifting snow. Slopes are carved to control how mass moves. Entire road sections rest beneath meters of snow, untouched, waiting. Here, closure is not failure, it is foresight. The road returns when conditions allow it, not sooner, not later. And then there are the bridges, structures that quietly manipulate perception. Norway has more than 18,000 bridges. Most are modest, some are monumental, many are unforgettable without ever demanding attention. Until one confuses your eyes, the Storseisundet bridge does exactly that. From a certain angle, it looks unfinished. Like a mistake frozen in concrete, a bridge that seems to rise and then end, drivers approach it with hesitation. Your brain anticipates danger, your eyes predict a sudden stop, but as you move forward, the illusion collapses. The curve reveals itself. The road continues. What felt like deception is actually protection. That curve distributes lateral forces. It manages wind loads from multiple directions. It adapts to uneven terrain beneath the structure. This bridge isn't theatrical, it's pragmatic. Again and again, Norway repeats the same lesson. What looks irrational is often deeply intentional. Sometimes the safest road is not visible at all. Norway is a country of tunnels. More than 1,200 road tunnels carved through rock. Some stretch longer than entire cities. Some descend hundreds of meters below sea level. Imagine drilling through solid rock beneath a fjord. Above you, millions of tons of water. Around you, pressure, fractures, uncertainty. One error could invite the sea inside, so nothing is left to chance. Gradients are carefully calculated to manage drainage and pressure. Rock quality is assessed meter by meter. Ventilation systems move enormous volumes of air. Even light becomes an engineering decision. Colors shift to prevent fatigue. Blue tones calm the mind. Yellow zones warn without panic. Repetition is avoided to keep drivers alert. This is engineering that understands human psychology as much as physics. And still, speed is never the priority. These roads are slow by design. They curve to make you look. They rise to change perspective. They pause where silence feels appropriate. Because Norway understood something rare, infrastructure doesn't have to dominate to be powerful. Power in this context is quiet. It's the ability to endure without shouting, to exist without demanding control, to remain even when nature reminds you who was here first. Driving these roads, the car feels small, the human feels temporary, the landscape feels timeless, and maybe that's the true achievement. These roads don't exist because humans conquered nature. They exist because engineers learned to listen. They bend instead of snapping. They close instead of breaking. They disappear instead of resisting. In a world obsessed with building higher, faster, louder, Norway chose restraint, roads that curve because wind insists, bridges that flex because rigidity would fail, paths that vanish in winter because permanence is not always strength. So the next time you see a road clinging to a cliff, floating above water, or fading into fog, ask yourself, is this a road that shouldn't exist? Or is it proof that when engineering respects nature, even the impossible can quietly endure? If you enjoyed this story, I invite you to share it and follow me for more stories where engineering meets wonder. Because sometimes the most extraordinary structures are not the ones that dominate the landscape, but the ones that understand when to yield.